Welcome back to TNT Adventures.
Yes, indeed.
It's always good to start off a YouTube video with a cup of tea and a coffee shot. We are at our first campsite of the year. We are local.
Rozel Campsite, or Rozel Camping Ground, I think it's officially called.
Yep. Rozel Campsite is east of the island, northeast.
It's a long way from home.
Yes, we live west, so we've travelled all of like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What we'll do is we're going to show you things to do around here. We'll show you the campsite in a bit as well, and also this is the first time that the campsites have opened in Jersey. So Rosel opened on Thursday, Boverland opened yesterday,
Friday,
which was Friday, and then the third campsite, the Palms, I think opens the 17th or something of April. So the trouble we have with having a van in Jersey is we have nowhere to stay during the winter months.
Officially you're not allowed to sleep overnight in any vehicle, so being good bunny rabbits, we don't.
Yeah. Apart from there is one spot down St. Ones, which you might have seen us doing
several million times.
Yeah. But if you want to know about that, we can explain that another time. So let's get going.
Let's go.
So we're going to head down to Rosel Harbour. We're leaving the campsite through the side entrance, which is the entrance that we arrived in last night due to being a larger vehicle. Yummy Jersey Royals to the left and to the right. So as you come out of the side entrance of the campsite, you turn right and just follow the main road all the way to the harbour. There's no footpath, so you do need to be quite aware. So as you come down the road, there is a footpath to the right which you can take, which takes you to a slip and a beach and some historical thing.
A dolmen.
Which we might take you to tomorrow, and Tracy can do her stuff. We can see the harbour in the distance. I know, it looks amazing from here. Cool car. Yeah. So the main road down to the harbour is got a slight incline. So if you don't fancy walking back up to the campsite, there is a bus. The bus is number 3, and I'll show you when we get there where you would pick it up from down by the harbour. So here's the bus stop I was talking about, if you want to get back up the little hill. It's Apple Cottage.
You go down this way?
Yep. And the pub is there. Lovely house there. Little shop there, we might pop in on the way back. Full of Jersey gifts. So as you come around the corner to go down to Rosel Harbour on the road, up here there's a footpath which takes you on the coastal route if you fancy doing a walk to Bully Bay, which is just next door. Here comes a hungry man. I'm excited.
So we've just enjoyed a lovely couple of burgers at the Hungry Man, which was as usual wonderful. Highly recommended. There's an awful lot of swimmers and cyclists around today. Mind you, it is sunny.
The bag, we're doing it. What we're off to do?
We're going swimming, of course.
Yes.
It's a lovely day for it.
Not in the sea though, we're going into the pool because we just bumped into the chap and he said...
Oh, are you taking your what's it?
Yeah, just in case it's chilly.
Okay.
He said that the cover's off, so we're going to run down.
Drop it all in there. I'll get mine as well.
Yeah, we've got our thermal rash vest because it's super windy. And it's a northeasterly wind, so it's quite fresh.
Bit for the bit. Fresh, isn't it?
So I'll just show you around the campsite quickly. We are parked in the top field, which is quite a good one to have, as the sea views over there. You can't see it that clearly this morning as it's quite hazy. And then behind us there's another section there and another section over there. There is a tap here which is next to our pitch, but at the minute it's not working. There's also a Wi-Fi pole up there, which works really well. So as you can see, the pitches are pretty big as well. So you can see as we get to the bottom of this field there's another Wi-Fi pole, so there's good coverage. This is a really good idea, so if you've got a disposable barbecue, you've got the bricks there to put it on. There's another field to the bottom there with another shower block. Here's the bins. Washing up station. Family washroom. The gents. Fresh water. The ladies. Plenty of toilets. There's more sinks the other side of the washroom, and here's the laundry. So 2 ironing boards with irons, and you've got some washers and tumble dryers, and some hand washing stuff. And it's £4 in pound coins. Hairdryer as well if you need to do your hair. So we're heading to the reception and the shop. And as you can see from this lane, this is why if you're in a big camper or motorhome, you come in the other way. This is the TV room, and then the other end there's a nice little lounge. So this is quite good if you're in a tent and you want to get a bit warmer. Games room. A little golfing area. So this is the reception and the shop. I'm not sure if the shop is open or just open for an hour. As the campsite only opened on Thursday, today is Saturday morning. And because we drove in through the back entrance, the chap met us there, so we didn't actually go to reception. And there's more pictures around this side. So there's a couple of big fields. So there's more pictures which are closer to the facilities. This one's quite nice, as you've got nice big hedges. If you've got kids, there's a nice little play area and a big bit they can run around in. So it might be, if you have children, be quite good to have pictures just there, so you're next to the park. Couple of Jesuits in, my love. So it's a nice quiet campsite, it's really clean. At the minute I think there's only 4 of us here, all local people. And of course, it is the best looking camper. So I forgot to say on the campsite tour, there's no restaurant on this site, but if you walk down to Rosel Bay, there's a nice pub on the way down there, and also you've got the Hungry Man little cafe.
Arrived. That's Tracy's.
So it's our last morning at the campsite, And before we leave, we're going to take a wander down to
La Salle, or La Say, I think it is La Say, which is just by the Couperon headland. So we'll tell you all about it when we get there.
So Tracy and I have quite a difference on climate.
It's cold, it's windy.
And I'm in shorts and flip-flops. So it is super sunny and warm, but we've got a force 4 to 5 wind again like we did yesterday.
And it's a northeasterly, so it's a bit chilly.
So it's a chilly breeze.
Fontinelles. So a fontinelle actually suggests there's a spring or a stream here somewhere. And you see at the bottom there's a streamed valley. So yeah, you can often tell the history of a place by looking at the Jersey French, or in this case French.
And here's the path we came to yesterday, so today we're going down here.
And there's a little sign that says public footpath to Le 16 slipway.
Yeah, and that's the parish badge of St Martin's, even though the colour's faded.
This is actually a street, so it's a rue. And it's really interesting for us to find that this is actually a very typical street in Jersey before General Don came and started to put the military roads in, which we'll touch on later. But this, to our eyes, looks like a path, but it is actually a road or a street. The outcropping bedrock here is Rozel conglomerate. And it almost looks like badly made concrete, but it isn't. But when you see it in the walls and it's not worn, it reminds me of Rice Krispies in chocolate. You know, the thing you used to make as a kid? So on the way down, you happen upon this rather lovely collection. So there's an 18th century guardhouse built next to a Neolithic dolmen. And it just shows that humans have been occupying the land in lookout spaces for an awfully long time. See, the Rozel conglomerate starts to figure again. So this would be local stone. And I think about 6 years ago now, sadly that tree, which is now dying, was alive, but one of the branches fell heavily onto one of the capstones, which the Société decided to stitch back together, and we did that with them just to help keep the monument preserved. This is one of 2 gallery graves in Jersey. The other one is in St Andrew's Park. Most of our grave systems are different. They're passage graves. This is a gallery grave which has got markers and capstones all the way through. And this capstone, I believe, was dropped in the early 20th century, which probably has stopped people burrowing through it over the years. And it would, of course, originally have had a mound over the top of it, and it has a relationship to this type of graves which are generally found in France. So it's lovely when you get this sort of relationship between very early, probably about 5,000 years ago, passage graves or gallery graves, and the 18th century when Jersey was facing threats from invasion from France, and so a lot of these guardhouses were thrown up at promontories to warn Jersey population of any attempted invasion. So you'll find a lot of these on the north coast. This is very typical vaulting that you'll find in these age of buildings. And this one really, as many of them do, needs some help. And the area is called Le Couperon, and Le Couperon is Old Jersey French, or Gerrier, for lookout, coupe being look.
Look at the colour of that sea. There's Rosel Harbour where we were yesterday. There's our trace.
On top of a headland, happy days.
So as you come down to the bottom, there's a small car park. Too small for large camper van or motorhome, but if you've got like a V-dub or a little Renault Traffic, it'd be a perfect little spot. So here's your public footpath down to the beach. So the footpath down to the beach would have been the old footpath that the old Jersey farmers would have came down to pick up the rack, and rack is seaweed.
And rack was used on the farmer's field for well, potato crops and other crops. So
Yeah, which is still used today.
It is. And the other fun fact is that in Jersey they also used to burn it. And you know that potash is very good for fertilising fields or gardens. So they used to burn it and they used to keep it. And every now and again you come across a tiny little building in a farm group, and it's called the Sonderie. I've probably pronounced it wrong, but it's the derivative of the word cinders in English, which is where they would have stored the potash for later use.
And just to show how close Rozel campsite is to France, as we're walking down the beach, I've just got my welcome message. Welcome to France.
That's how close it is.
There it is.
Oh, you can see the Ecrios.
Yeah. So France is just slightly that way, and on a clear day where we're pitched at the campsite, you can see the coast of France quite clearly. So as we get to the bottom, it's clearer to see there's more of a track, and then that's why the slipways had cobbles on them for the horses to put their little feet in to have a good grip.
This covers with water. Well, you can see from the seaweed it's still very, very damp, but it's hard for us as sort of modern eyes to see this as a trackway. But that's exactly what it was, and it would have gone down to the various beaches and up that way, and the rocks that are now in the middle would have been deposited by storms and sea storms. So this is a modern surface, and you can see how worn the track has become over the years. Just shows why it doesn't look like a trackway anymore. You can see the Rozel conglomerate, and above it is almost a sandy mixture, and this is called lows or glacial head. And at the time of the great last ice age, as the glaciers retreated northwards, they exposed barren lands, and there were ferocious winds from the north because of the pressure differences, which blew these sands all over the south of England and Jersey in particular. And so on most cliffs you'll see this sandy material, and in that we actually sometimes have archaeological evidence as settlement happened in the island when it was still connected to France. In Rosel there's a set of barracks that were built by General Don and started I think in 1909 to 1910. They still exist, but they're now a private house. And what General Don noticed is that the lane we've just been up and down was typical of Jersey. They were very small and difficult. So as a result, to move soldiers and equipment around Jersey was extremely challenging. So Don set about, not himself obviously, building roads to link up key components. So we've got the Grand Routes in Jersey, and the Grand Routes come from that time and as part of the militarisation and defence of Jersey from potential French invasion.
So we're back from our little patrol. We're just going to have a brew before we head back home. Next in the video we'll put the route to the campsite. As you leave the harbour, you want to head east and go towards the tunnel, go through the tunnel onto Rue Fort, turn left up to St Clement's Road, keeping in the right hand lane. You'll then head up Montmilley. So right on first left, and here's the left next to the Royal St Martin pub, which is it. This is where the road gets narrow, and as you get to the junction there's a sign to the campsite. Caravans, motorhomes, straight on. Keep going straight on. As you pass the campsite, the road will bend round to the right and it gets quite narrow. Motorhome entrance down here.
Looks like a track. Here's a track.
So you will feel like you're coming into the wrong place, but for motorhome and large camper vans, this is the right entrance. And then you've got the sign just at the end to point you into the back end of the campsite. There's a sign.
Spots.
It says spots on the rad, my love. And then through the bottom gate, and then you're straight into the top field. So as ever, thank you for watching our video. Let us know if you want to know more stuff or areas around Jersey. Also, thank you to all our new subscribers as we've reached 1,000.
We really appreciate that. Thank you.
And to all the people that comment regularly as well, thank you very much. So we'll see you in the next one, which will either be down St. Ones or in France.
Bye for now.
Bye bye. So we emptied the toilet at the other chemical disposal, and it would have been easier doing it here.